Ahoy there, Legion! Hope you're having a wonderful November afternoon. Fall's a-fallen, there's crispness in the air, leaves on the ground, and fingers crossed, a little bit of snow is a-fallen. Speaking of snow, if memory serves, it was right around this time of year when I first loaded up the co-op quirkiness that is the Tomorrow Children. I tend to lean back into my couch and load up something in hand's reach just after Christmas dinners and get-togethers finally ease up, and this just so happened to be the game I chose back in 2016. It was free on the PlayStation Store, and by golly, can't say no to a price like that. Besides, I can always delete it if I don't dig it after a while anyway. But I'm glad I gave the game a go, and to its credit, I've yet to delete it. It's one of the most interesting games I've ever played. Right out the gates, you got this distinct, unique visual style and an amazing soundtrack which ranges between cheerful, propagandistic marching tune, surprisingly addictive, as well as thoughtful, spacey tunes synthwave lovers out there will be overjoyed to hear, and both genres of music pull you into the setting, which, short version is, something went wrong, and now everyone on Earth's a pile of goo. Is that too short a version? Okay, well, during a darn near horror experience of a starting tutorial, you're personally instructed by just the nicest, most unnerving guy who definitely does not torture woodland birds between broadcasts that lets you know you're surrounded by the void. Something science happened back in the late 60s, and everybody melted down and disappeared Dwemer style. Very few survived, and we the player are digitized creations those survivors made that can traverse the void in search of supplies and survivors. It's our job to rebuild town and pretty much revive humanity. That's not to say we're the only ones doing that, but that's a video for another day. What separates the Tomorrow Children from other games with the same basic premise of Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, or Harvest Moon is, well, to start with, imagine you couldn't leave your farm in Harvest Moon. You still gotta get to town to get all the seeds and interact with people, but, well, I mean, you can try to leave on foot, but it'll go over about as well as the Maitlands trying to leave their house in Beetlejuice. No sandworms to worry about here, save them for Saturn and Arrakis. Here you gotta watch out for the void. That's right, the void. An endless sea of snowy static that'll grab your ankles and pull you under like quicksand. It's pretty much the ground here. For you to make it out safely, you're gonna have to take the bus, which runs spectacularly on time, second only to Japan's bullet trains on punctuality. If it says in-game it's gonna be there by 8:06, by golly, it'll be there by 8:06. Well, now that I'm thinking about it, the game was made by a Japanese studio, so I really should have put two and two together sooner, huh? Anywho, as the bus comes by, you're gonna hear it in the distance as the engine draws near. It'll chime when it arrives, and all you gotta do is hop in and get comfy, because you and potentially a whole lot of other players are going for a ride. Just don't slip and hit the wrong button mid-trip, otherwise we'll see you back in town when you respawn. The hover bus drops you off at the mysterious and super surreal islands. Which islands you see changes as the town grows, and based on experience they tend to give you what the town needs. They'll vary from Tiny Tree Island to Missile Face, Cloud God, Floating Sushi, Escher Stairways, Dessert Buffet Tray, one of my faves, it's kinda rare though, Roman Roses, Triple Bears, Shoe Fetish Anonymous, Scrambled Eggs, Lower Jaw, and so on. The sense of scale is amazing on some of these, and you can literally get lost navigating inside them. They got platforming sections, bad guys to avoid or take out, tons of things to reclaim, and plenty of hidden goodies tucked away to the keen and curious explorer. And don't feel like you gotta stick to the path the dev starts you off with. You can always make your own. Here's me on the whale island I never saw before, so I ended up tunneling through with a rocket launcher just for a quick exit. It was going pretty well until I heard that spider swarm flank past, and ran into another player going Yosemite Sam in a tank. Good times. So you're marooned like a fish in a curiously large barrel, yet you need to go out and gather resources to complete the town and win the day. Yet you also gotta stay in town to safely get those resources into storage and then build things with. Yet you also gotta defend those buildings from the increasingly dangerous attacks of void monsters that range from creepy to kaiju. Nothing as traumatic as the Jabberwock, and you can see the big ones that are the most threatening from a mile away. But I swear, those little gas mask mosquitoes attack every time the game gets super dark and foggy. And this game loves it some super dark and foggy. You've been warned. Gathering, building, attacking, defending, repairing, and maintaining. I've played in many a solo queue from FPS, RTS, MOBA, and MMO, but even with those granting me a double major in Galaxy Brain tier levels of patience and lowered expectations, this amount of carrying seems a bit much for a single player to shoulder. Luckily, it's designed for a whole bunch of players to all do their part and help in any way they can. And best of all, you yourself get to choose how you want to help the town. Do you want to ride the metal stallion and explore the trippy islands and tame the wilderness? Do you want to stay in town and ensure the hard-earned goods other players gathered gets to where it's going before it fizzles away into the night? Do you want to build the town from the ground up? Maybe you want to engineer something more than just functional, but something to inspire your fellow comrades when they return. Do you want to maintain an iron curtain of defense and pick off the roaming baddies like an expert turret marksman? Pick your favorite task or alternate on the fly and get to it. This large-scale sense of co-op and camaraderie is a big draw most games don't even attempt to scratch the itch of, and I'd say is a big reason for the Tomorrow Children's cult following. The focus on cooperation is handled in such a way that both solo players and groups of friends alike can get in and work towards the same common goal. Now, I don't know about you, but from a tender age, the phrase group project has instilled within me a powerful aversion to anything related to group projects. So I tend to play things more, shall we say, lone wolf than social butterfly. When a game allows me to choose when to play on my own or with others, and either option ends with all of us winning, yeah, I'll take your entire stock of that, thank you. Now that busy town of yours is bustling with activity, but all is not that it seems. Every now and then the players disappear and teleport somewhere else. Where do they come from? Where do they go? Where do they come from, Cotton Eye Joe? Similarly, in Dark Souls, you always see yourself, but only see other players, and they only see you, under specific situations, like waiting on the bus or performing actions or emotes. This popping in and out of existence adds a curious layer to the gameplay, as you could be right next to someone, but never see them the whole time. You'll be working on something, and out of nowhere another player is there, and then they poof away just as fast. It gets a little mind-warpy because you're both still there, but on each other's screen you're both not. So at any one moment, everyone could be everywhere or nowhere. You could be next to everyone in town, or none of them at all.
It could be in this very room. It could be you. It could be me. It could even be a void.
While in town, you'll see players all the time, but on islands is where things get a bit more isolated. This change in tone is underlined with a big shift in musical design. For example, when on the bus ride over, you're jamming out to the boisterous and earwormingly thumping theme music, but the moment the bus leaves, it takes that music away, along with its reassurance and the strength built into it, leaving behind a much more experimental, spacey synth track ranging from inquisitive and curious to dark and ominous at best. This perfectly reflects the situations you're going to run into on the islands, from trying to avoid monsters' detection to figuring out how you're going to get that item just out of reach below. What do? Are you low on supplies? That'll force some MacGyver into things right there. Can you use a shovel to dig towards it? Maybe carve out steps with explosions? Float down safely with an umbrella? Or do you just jump down and eat the damage, then an apple to top yourself off again? And now that you're there, how are you going to get back out with the goods? Or do you keep going forward and brave the darkness? Add in some truly massive places to explore with a game not afraid of having to go pretty much pitch black every now and then. You're going to have some tense moments. Also, you lose health while in darkness. Also, islands disappear after a while. Whether you're in them or not, yeah, after a certain amount of time or enough resources are removed, the island starts shaking like someone making popcorn on the stove. This is your warning to pack it up and head back to town because the ground is solid now, but ain't gonna be for long. Now you got a decision to make. Do you take what you have and trot your way back to the bus stop? Or do you try your luck mad dashing back and forth in order to loot every single last thing you possibly can that isn't nailed down before it collapses? Danger be danged. I'll leave the choice to you, comrade. So you do all that and a whole bunch of other mechanics and details I left out, and Kaloo Kalay, the town is saved. I'm taking this part out so you can actually see what it looks like when you earn it for the first time yourself. Well, about that. Technically, the servers to the game closed November 1st. 2017. Yep, this is footage from back then. All those years in Fallout and Skyrim taught me well in the ways of the pack rat. While you were partying, I studied unhealthy hoarding habits. It's only gotten worse in time. But good news, the devs got the IP back and seem to be gearing up to re-release it. To folks with it still installed, you might have noticed an odd update the game had a few months back, which was interesting to see pop up on screen. No date set on the re-release, but I mean Christmas ain't that far away. I've been good, Santa. This year, at least. Come on now. I'm really happy that Tomorrow Children's coming back, and I'm aiming to make a series out of it, as I spent a lot of my downtime playing the game back then, and feel like it got a really raw end of the stick. And the quirky co-op gameplay is just something you gotta experience. And even if it takes them a bit to get it back out, heck, I don't think anyone expected it to re-release in the first place, so it's not like we're in particularly a rush here. And thanks to my backlog of footage I made before everything went down, I got plenty of things to highlight and tips to give before it even launches again. Tip of the hat to QGames and Mr. Cuthbert for their time making the game and somehow snagging the rights back to it from Sony, which is truly a marvel. So fingers crossed, hopefully soon I'll be checking in on your town, and maybe we can restore one or two together. Until then, thanks for watching, and catch you next time, Legion. Take care.